Welcome back to Evangelism for God, the channel that speaks about issues the church run away from and expose Satan and his devices. My name is Maurice Braxton, and I'm sure you've heard politicians on either side say that, well, they don't have a plan. The Democrats don't have a plan. The Republicans don't have a plan, or this particular politician doesn't have a plan. And sometimes, people, they'll go ahead, we'll elect them. And sometimes they'll carry out some of the plans that they promise, and a lot of times they don't. And we put all our hopes and trust in them and all of that. And I was thinking over the weekend, as I prepared this message, that the church has no plan. The evangelical and most of the Christian community has no plan. Because prior to the pandemic, it was business as usual. There was no type of major plan in place for reaching of souls and outreach type programs that will reach souls and certain situations to kind of bring people into the fold and into the body of Christ. It was a whole different agenda. And guess what, guys? I brought back the notes. There's been a few messages. I can't remember in the last one. When I bring my notes, I jot stuff down the old school way. But I got a few things on here about the Christians in the church and this so-called, they don't have any plans. And what they were doing was fulfilling, number one I have on here, self-fulfilling agendas. It was all about people, self, leaders. It was about self, fame, fortune, whatever. And a lot of us as individuals within the body of Christ, that's only worried about ourselves, what God can do for us. Only thing, not worried about anyone else. This self-agenda so that we can make it on whatever kind of goal we have. And then in most cases, we don't even look back to try to bring somebody else along. Number two, I have in here, caught up in the material things, and for the pastors and leaders, caught up into the bigger buildings and all types of building funds. Some of these buildings and some of these churches prior to the pandemic, they were so worried about building, they didn't even have the membership as far as the attendance, but they just wanted something thousands of square extra feet just to have it, just to kind of be a showboat. That's kind of that's spending the congregation's money loosely or so. And that's not, that's no plan, because that's baloney, the way that a lot of these pastors will misabuse the building funds and things and set up there and have people scraping whatever they can. And it's okay to have a building fund if God has led it that way. But there was a whole lot of going on prior to the pandemic. And that's why I had a message earlier on where I talked about God is closing up shop. The pandemic, some of these pastors and churches, it's time he closed the doors. And some of them, they don't need to open back up because they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And then I have one here. This is a big one. This is a big one that I've noticed. Number three, that is going on as far as so many Christians they're desiring the rapture to come. They want the end to come. They want to be raptured out of here right now. That's the act of selfishness. I mean, I'm ready when the Lord calls me home. I hope to live a long life and achieve some more goals that I have in life. But if he calls me home fine. If he comes, that's fine. But some people, they're so only worried about the rapture for themselves. Is your family saved? Where's your family stance? Because I can guarantee you, most families, not everybody's saved. And what about your friends? Is everybody saved? What about your co-workers? There's so many other people out here that are lost, and you're only worrying about yourself and only want to get taken up out of here where it's like, screw them, I'm out of here. I mean, no, we're not to have that type of attitude. We are to be fishers of men. We are to be reaching the lost and trying to do the best we can, because we know we're in the last days and we need to bring many along as possible. We don't get to leave and just, hey, take me out of here, God, I'm out. I want to be gone. No, that's a selfish attitude. You need to be careful and watch that and examine your heart if that's your only way of thinking at this point. Because I know everybody around my circle is not saved. And then I have number 4 on here, and this is another big one that's been going on. Demonizing people. I have demonized the lost and come across with our self-righteousness. You know, people are Christians and evangelicals and all of this stuff. They're running around self-righteous, talking about somebody because they have views of different points, and then instead you pushing them away. There's a study that just come out of, once again, in an article that I read, and I'll put it up here right now. It's just right there, and I'll try to put the link in there too if you want to go to read that. But it's talking about the millennials and the Generation X of this. They don't have anything to do with God or anything like that. They've fallen away so far away, they don't care. And that's on us in the church. And this is where we are, because in my conclusion here, I have, you see, the parents of Generation X and the millennials have let society down. I said by being a poor example of a Christian and not teaching them of Christ. That's why this generation is messed up. You can't blame the government for that. It falls on the parents and the parents of these kids. If you're not teaching your child about Christ and training them up in the way they should go, that's on you. Now, if you didn't done that and then they still go astray, that's understandable, because not everyone is going to go down the right path in life, regardless of what you show them. But if you're a believer, if you knew about the Lord, for you to lay him aside and then raise up a generation of kids that don't know the Lord and where you don't even talk about the Lord and don't even talk about the goodness of him and let them learn about the Lord and let them go through life like this. You see what we got going on right now? That's why society is this one part of this, the chaos, where so many people has placed Christ aside and don't care. Well, we care on this channel because, like I said, I call it out. That's what the goal of this channel is talk about these issues that people in the churches just sweeping under the rug, and we're going to take Satan head on and punch him right in between the chops. That's what we continue to do. So if you're new, consider subscribing, coming along for the journey, hit like, and turn on your notification too, because I know you might have other things you subscribe to, and that way you'll know when I make something, because when I get to going sometime, I may make 2 or 3 videos a week. It just depends. But we're going to continue to give God the glory. We've got to continue. There's so many more souls out here that are lost that need us. They need the body of Christ, the true warriors of Christ. Pull somebody along. And you don't have to pull one person. The angels in heaven will rejoice if one person is saved. That's right. So let's try to do your part so that we can get everybody over into the promised land that we can. So that's all I have for today. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.